coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Denton, Texas, America, and the world. It's time for the Green Guys Show.
I'm a big Green Guys fan.
A full hour of all things Mean Green Sports. Live from the KNTU studios on the campus of the University of North Texas.
We're surrounded by North Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Green Guys Show.
There's not much that gets me more fired up.
There were two bands, two of them, count them, 1, 2, on Saturday. The Green Brigade and the Ocean of Soul.
Great name.
And Anthony Council, who won the Battle of the Bands?
The Ocean of Soul.
Raiders!
Hey, man. The Ocean of Soul was on fire. I don't care what anybody say.
They were literally, so I worked the Mean Green radio broadcast. They were destroying our crowd mic.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
They literally were.
That was on purpose.
I was upstairs in the press box,
Uh-oh.
and you could
Side
hear
flex.
them from the press box. They were so loud. Like I think one of the announcers was like speaking for like a game. You couldn't even hear her because the Ocean of Soul was so loud.
At least the bands were good.
Well,
It was a good football game in terms of UNT got the win, but
yeah.
we have a lot to break down. This is the Green Guys Show, by the way. I'm Zach Babb. I am not in charge of this show. This belongs to 4 students here at the University of North Texas. I'm joined today by the already aforementioned Anthony Council,
Yo.
Cullen Brown,
What's going on?
Blake Elliott,
That's me.
and Kevin Walker.
What's going on?
The whole crew is back
Yeah.
from a variety of maladies and other things beyond our control last week, where we had to call on 3 guests to fill in.
Weather. I blame weather.
Weather,
Me and Blake held it down. It's all good.
COVID.
Yeah, y'all did.
Well,
Y'all had it down.
I have complaints.
Yeah.
We tried until trivia.
Everything was great until trivia.
Yeah, and then Carlos took over, right?
At least I know I can't come back and
Carlos
do
and
worse.
Milo, to be fair.
Yeah,
I don't think I can come back and do worse.
I don't think I got one right.
So that's good to know.
But yes, this is the Green Guys, where we discuss all things North Texas sports, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And now time to talk, as we always do for the large majority of this show, a little bit of football. North Texas faced off against Texas Southern. The aforementioned Ocean of Soul band is from Texas Southern. They are the Tigers, and they took on North Texas and lost, as the Mean Green came away with a 59-27 win.
Yeah.
And I will break down the game here briefly by the scoring drives. It was offense, offense, offense in the second quarter. Things started out with an Ethan Mooney 43-yard field goal that made it 3-0. Then Iowa Day on a 59-yard rush made it 10-0. Texas Southern responded with a field goal to make it 10-3. That was all the scoring at the end of the first quarter. Then how about try 5 straight touchdown drives between North Texas and Texas Southern? Started off with a Macklin 35-yard touchdown reception from Austin Awney. Then Owens for Texas Southern went 39 yards. Jair Shorter, 26-yard reception. Bennett, an 18-yard reception thrown by Andrew Bonney. And then Roderick Burns, 70-yard reception. That, if you're keeping score at home, that's a 31-17 Mean Green lead. Then Oscar Attaway added back-to-back touchdowns in the latter stages of the second quarter to make it 45-17. Then early in the third, Varkese Gums had his first catch in first touchdown reception in a Mean Green uniform. That made it 52-17. Texas Southern then had a 1-yard touchdown rush, made it 52-24. Preston Landis got into the game, had a 10-yard touchdown run for the Mean Green, 59-24, and then with 3 minutes to play, Texas Southern kicked a 39-yard field goal to make it 59-27. I know we have a lot of opinions about this game. It was good to see the Mean Green offense score the most points that they have in more than 5 years in a single game. You have to go back to week 1 of 2017 to see the last time that the Mean Green put up 59 points in a contest. But the question at hand, how concerned are we about the defense after giving up 458 yards to a team that is 4-23 over their last 27 games? Who wants to start this?
I'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
I'm going to say very worried to say the least. Looking back on it, I'm actually surprised we didn't give up more yards to SMU. So, I mean, you let 8 receivers catch the ball. 3 of them got over 40 yards, and 1 receiver alone had 7 receptions for 115. So this receiving, so containing the receiving court maintains to be an issue for this secondary. But I mean, they held down the run. I mean, just the secondary is just so scary to me.
Anthony Council, I know you were at the game for K&TU. You probably have some opinions.
Andrew Body had a ball game. I'm not going to lie. TSU's quarterback was throwing the ball all over the field. The defense for UNT was asleep. They were asleep the entire game. The amount of yards that Andrew Body threw
239.
Like more than Austin Auni's. Like literally the most he's ever threw this season. I mean, the game he played against PV, the Prairie View A&M University, he threw 59 yards. This game, he's going out there having a ball game like it's Christmas time and Thanksgiving mixed together. I mean, he was just killing it. And the defense for UNT, they just didn't. I felt like that they underestimated Andrew Body because he was running all over the field. He was throwing the ball everywhere. I mean, he was having a ball game. And I was just telling Cullen this. If that defense shows up against UNLV, they are going to be destroyed this weekend. Vegas is going to be having a ball, while UNT is going to be crying.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, Anthony, you touched on it. Body had 14 rushes for 45 yards.
Their quarterback averaged 3.2 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony, I feel like you put it perfectly. I think UNT just underestimated them. We got absolutely bodied by SMU, and we thought we could just roll our helmets out. And, I really do not care about the score. Like I said last week, I feel like we just did not play a good ball game. We could have won 100-0. Just the way that game went, our defense was letting them get whatever they wanted. It was still a close game until we obviously broke out a couple touchdowns late in the second quarter. But if you watch, almost all of our touchdowns, other than the rushes and the one in the goal line, were open receivers, blown coverages, or just the guys just blanketed open. Me and Kevin could have made that throw and catch. There wasn't anything that was oh my God, look at the UNT offense, just guys making plays, and look at the script being drawn up. Most all of our scores in that were just blown coverages or guys not being where they're supposed to be. Yep. So the offensive scores weren't really that impressive to me. I mean, Ani barely threw over 50% against a very subpar defense. He was airing. I don't know how many times he threw the ball over Jair Shorter's head. They seem like they're trying to get a connection, but it feels like it's just not there. He airmails them half the time. And then obviously we got some guys in open space, and there's just better athletes out there. But I was 2 out of 10 impressed. I think the run game was good.
Yeah, and real quick, right before we jump to Cullen for his opinions, Ani was 11 for 20. So he threw for 4 touchdowns, but only threw the ball 11 times. He had 259 total passing, or 218 total passing yards for him. But we know that we're a run-heavy offense. We had 348 rushing yards. And majority of those came from Adai on 10 rushes, but Adaway had the most touchdowns. So like you said, Ani, it's kind of wishy-washy. We know he's supposed to be a game manager, but you only threw the ball 20 times. You only had 11 completions. And it's not a very good defense that you're playing. So I don't know. Maybe they need to keep working in the lab about getting that connection.
Cullen, how many touchdowns Tanner Mordecai putting up if he played that same Southern team?
I mean,
how many yards?
He would be setting records. Put it that way. He'd be setting records one way or another. Last week I said going into this game that it needed to look like an FBS team going up against an FCS team, which is the reality. It did not look like that. It looked like, yes, UNT did come away with the win. Yes, UNT was able to establish a run, and you guys did a great job touching on all of that. This team cannot guard the pass to save their life. I am sorry. This is a major problem for them. Their front seven is definitely going to be the ones that have to carry this unit, because outside of Deshaun Gaddy, I'm really not trusting anybody, to be honest, in that secondary. I mean, we talked about, y'all mentioned it, Andrew Body was throwing it all over the field after not having a great week previous. And the fact that this guy got over 200 yards on this defense, I mean, I was the only one when we made our preseason predictions on what UNT's record would be. I was the only one that said that this team would not go bowl eligible, that they would not get to a bowl game. I feel more confident in that today, speaking with, even though they put on 59 points, UNT's offense, they can only win one way. They have to establish the run, and then Ani has to feed off of play action. And you mentioned it, 4 touchdowns, but barely over 50% completion percentage against this team. Yeah, I'm not feeling good after this one. If there's ever such thing as a moral defeat, not a moral victory, a moral defeat, I think this game's proved it more than so for UNT.
I completely agree with that sentiment.
I mean, also, you got to think about, Austin Ani's doing the best that he possibly can. I mean, he's one of the leaders in the locker room, but the receivers have to catch the ball. You can't just go out there with butterfingers. I can't even think about how many drop passes I saw from their
Tommy
receivers.
Bush.
I mean, come on now. I mean, I
think Tommy Bush had 3 drops on his own.
And see, the thing is, we still, tell me if I'm wrong, I believe to this point, we do not have a receiver that's had more than 4 catches in a game.
Yeah.
So it's great that we're...
I think you're right.
Correct.
Yeah, touching on that,
right.
6 receivers, 4 of them went over 30 yards. The max target that anybody got was 3 targets, and that was 3 receivers.
And was it Jamori Macklin led us in receiving 3 receptions, for 80 yards and a touchdown. He's a transfer, is he not?
Yeah,
and
from
he's Missouri.
Yep. And he's already apparently in one of the games where we should really be this should be a game where we've seen guys like Jake Roberts and other guys in the receiving core go off, and it just
we don't have a wide
That's
receiver.
what I'm saying.
we don't Ani doesn't seem like he has a consistent connection with anybody.
No,
Which
that's
is,
a big
it's
problem.
great that he's sharing the ball and all, but like we saw with that UTEP game, they were feeding Smith the ball, and he had 10, 11 receptions, 170 yards. You got to have that guy, especially even if you get that chemistry going in a game like this.
This is a game where you build chemistry.
Yeah, this is a game where you should have a guy with 150 yards, 2-3 touchdowns. But it's we have guys getting 5-yard touchdowns, 2 catches, 1 catch. It's a little concerning that you can't even build that against Southern.
I mean, no wide receiver 1. I get we're a rushing offense, but every team has, this is the guy, lock this guy down. Our best corner goes on this guy. I don't even think we have that guy.
Let me ask real quick, because I know we're going to need to move on here in a second. What is your projected run total for UNT that they need to get to each week to really give them a chance to win games and give Ani a chance to feed off of play action and be able to give UNT a chance to win the game? What does UNT need to reach in the rushing attack? Because to me, that's the key to victory for them on offense.
Talking about rushing yards or rushing attempts?
Well, both,
Okay,
honestly.
so I'm going to say, because, you're Attaway got 10 receiving, but Attaway had 17 carries, but Adai had 10. But Adai had more yards. It's a very spread rushing. I'd say you're probably going to have around anywhere between 40 to 50 attempts in total, but you're going to need at least 250 rushing yards and combined.
And that's saying something.
That's
a lot.
To have a compatible offense.
Teams
to
are
get you down
not
the field.
Teams are not scared of Ani dropping back and dotting them, so they're going to fill the box.
No, they're not.
Experience doesn't mean anything if you can't consistently deliver the ball on target.
And get this, Ani wasn't even sacked.
Yeah.
Not once.
And it's the play action, it might get them, but then we got one-on-one, and a lot of times these DBs are winning that battle, the one-on-one. So it's not even like a one-on-one matchup where SMU, they see a one-on-one matchup, they're going for it. That's what they want. They're throwing a jump ball. Even when Cullen, we saw it last game, Seguin, they see the one-on-ones, they're throwing that ball. I don't feel like we have that luxury right now at UNT where they're like, oh, it's a one-on-one, my guy's going to go get it.
Yeah. No, no one fears the secondary in the slightest, and this is definitely arguably the weakest point of our team, and that's going to be a problem when we go against other prolific passers, not only in conference games, but, just throughout the rest of the season. So, yeah, definitely something to be concerned with if you're UNT.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There is the Texas Southern win. Clearly, the board around here not too impressed by the win. But coming up, we'll talk about a tougher opponent than Texas Southern, and that is the UNLV Rebels. That's coming up on the Green Guys.
Hey there, this is Mark Followell, formerly of KNTU, back in the good old days. Now play-by-play voice for the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm not sure why, but currently you guys are tuned in to the Green Guys.
And welcome back to the Green Guys, where we discuss all things North Texas sports, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Now time to shift gears and talk a little UNLV. as the Mean Green get ready to take on their next to last conference or non-conference opponent, excuse me. Still got Memphis to attend to. But to kind of give a overview of UNLV, they were terrible last year. They were 2-10. However, they look a lot better than that this year. They just steamrolled Idaho State, albeit it's Idaho State. They're an FCS program, so you expect to win, and they did. And then, perhaps most shockingly, they go into Berkeley last week and hang around with Cal. In fact, it took a Cal goal line stand with 2 minutes and 46 seconds to play for them to hang on to a 20-14 win. So hard to get a read on Idaho State, or not Idaho State, UNLV's offense, because their offense didn't fare too well against Cal, but it lit up Idaho State, which kind of to be expected. Cal's got a good defense. Idaho State's an FCS program. It's whatever. But, man, UNLV's defense looks really good through 2 games. Kevin, I know you have some stats here if you want to rifle those off, and we'll jump right into UNLV here.
Yeah, you already touched on Cal. In last game against Cal, they hung with them, like you said, 14-20. They had 8 penalties for 105 yards.
Yeah.
So UNLV might be a penalized team. Maybe they're going to be focused on trying to get that discipline down, but if they can, maybe they won't kill themselves so much in a game against UNT. Now, I know that they gave up 14 points to Cal in the first quarter. But after that, they only allowed 6 points being in field goals. So maybe they are a rough start team in the beginning, and then they take a little bit to get around. But I don't know. And you kind of already touched on this. They're kind of a hard offense to read. They had 309 versus the 370 total yards. So they kind of kept up with Cal in that department, just got outbeat by about 60-some yards. But they did not allow 100 yards rushing from Cal. So that, off the offense of UNT being predicated on the run and UNLV not allowing 100 yards in total is a little concerning going into that, and how our offensive line is going to be able to allow our offense to succeed. But one thing that's really, really important, I think, is UNLV was 1 for 12 on third down conversions against Cal. So
not great.
No, not great at all. So maybe if you get them in that third down situation, they don't have the right play call, you can kind of figure out what you're needing to do. But they don't look like they're very primarily run or pass. They look like they can do just about both, but they only have 3 rushers, and 2 of them had 12+ attempts each. So it's kind of a hard offense to read, but definitely something to keep an eye on is that 1 on 12 for third down conversions and not allowing more than 100 yards on rushing.
Yeah, seems like a hard team to get a read on. They played Cal pretty well, and Cal's a good program, obviously. Probably one of the better programs that they're going to play. So I think it'll be – what did I predict us to lose or win this?
Everyone predicted a win for UNT.
Not feeling so hot about that anymore, if I'm being completely honest.
Not feeling great.
Because, like you just said, they went 1 for 12 on third down against a good Cal team. That'll probably move to like 8-12 versus us, especially if they're passing. Ricky White, Kyle Williams, they're going to have a field day. They're going to be running all over the place. See, the thing is, our team, I want to say, is momentum-based, but there's been times where we've started off well and then we sizzle out, and then vice versa. So we're just inconsistent. That's really all it is. Yep. So, yeah, we could come out and hang 40 on them and it'd be 40-12, or we could get 40 hung on us. So, honestly, we're going to have to wait and see. I think this is going to have to do a lot with the run game, keeping the ball just in the UNT's hands. It's probably going to be a lower-scoring game. I think just penalties and time of possession will win this.
Yeah, I agree. And you kind of already touched on those receivers. UNLV had 3 receivers go around 50 yards or more, and each one of them had a max of 4 targets.
So that UNT work.
Yeah. No,
But they got 50.
We talked about it last segment. We hope that UNT gets 250 yards in order to compete, have a chance to win. Kevin, you mentioned it. They're allowing 71 yards per game, UNLV's defense, against the run. This is going to be something where the battle line of scrimmage, again, I'm going to say it all season, is going to be crucial for UNT. Also, Doug Brumfield, the quarterback for UNLV, he's having a really great year. He's completing 67% of his passes. He's got 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. Definitely going to be interesting to see who wins the turnover battle between him and Ani. Like I said, UNT really is predicated on winning the ball, winning one way. They have to establish the run, build off the play action, and hope their front seven can kind of contain the defense on the other side. Because that secondary, if Brumfield gets going on the other side of the ball, he wraps for UNT early.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things that could be a concern is that if UNT goes on a nice little run, UNLV, I believe, they came back from a 13-point deficit against a really good Cal team.
Yeah.
Like, they better look out because that team, like you said, Colin, that quarterback, yeah, he can ball, and he's having a really good season. So, I mean, they just got to look out for the comeback because the comeback could be real in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's just a cool name, though. Brumfield.
Yeah, Doug Brumfield.
That just sounds like a hooper. You just sound like like a baller.
Yeah.
Shot caller.
And the thing is just UNLV, whenever we were making these preseason predictions, I mean, Zach mentioned it, they were not a good team last year. I was kind of thinking, all right, maybe we got a chance versus them. I mean, this would be a great road win for UNT, obviously traveling to Las Vegas. And the way that they were able to hang with a Power 5 school in Cal Berkeley, that spells trouble for UNT because, frankly, right now, based on the SMU game, we are just not able to hang with a team that's just going to out-athletic us or out-athleticism us, and I believe UNLV is going to have the better athletes on the field this upcoming weekend.
And not only that, but I already touched on it. Cal got 14 points in the first quarter, and then UNLV held them from there only to 2 field goals for the rest of the game. Yeah. UNT allowed SMU to score I don't even know how many points in the first quarter. We did not have any comeback of any sort put together.
And see, that's the thing. Our team is not built to come back like what Cullen's saying. We're a run-first team.
Yeah.
So when you're down 21-3,
you're
and
screwed.
It's obvious passing situations, and you run a draw or you run on first and second down, you're just behind the chains.
Yeah.
Like, we are built to be ahead and keep the lead, and I think we can do a good job as we saw this week versus Southern. But when you play a team that's got a good defense and the game is just consistently close or could swing in their favor, and you're trying to run the ball every play, and they know that, and they're stacking the box, like that's a recipe for disaster. Like, you have to have other ways to win other than running and the occasional play action where Ani's running 2 miles per hour.
I mean, like, I guess you could say that about, we're really good at, keeping the lead. I mean, TSU, they came back. It was like, what, 14-21?
I did not say really good.
I'm okay, maybe not really good. I mean, we're I'll
decent.
say eh.
We'll go with decent. That's the max compliment I can give.
I'm just going with the EH and an eh. But with keeping the lead, because, I mean, the fact that TSU came back, it was 14-21. I mean, the defense just has to they got to wake up against UNLV, because if they don't, they're just going to run. They're either going to run the ball very well, or they're going to do a pass play, and that's going to be easy. This is going to be easy chicken for them. It's going to be barbecue chicken for UNLV.
And does someone have thoughts to finish on this?
I was just going to say, Cullen already kind of touched on it, but if UNLV gets ahead early, it could be early wraps for UNT. It could get really ugly really quick.
Let me ask this question as it pertains to UNT's defense. What do you think has changed from week 1, where you hold UTEP to 13 points and you pitch a second half shutout, to just getting absolutely torched by SMU and then beat up pretty well by a Texas Southern team? What do you think? What's been the change from week 1 to week 3, or week 0 to week 3?
I got the answer to that.
Okay.
UTEP wasn't able to capitalize. I mean, they still were able to put up yards on UNT's defense. They just weren't able to punch it into the end zone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't say that was a great defensive performance by UNT. I mean, if you just look at the box score and you look at the final score, you'd think, oh, UNT did a pretty decent job. No, matter of fact, the UTEP, was able to move the ball consistently down the field. I mean, we talked about the 2 receivers that went for over 100 yards that game. Those problems are just more apparent now because more teams are cashing in and are realizing that, hey, we don't have to necessarily run the ball on this team. We can just throw it over top. And like Blake mentioned earlier, I mean, one-on-one matchups, no one's scared of UNT at this point.
No.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say our corners aren't fast.
No, I think
they're not.
100. We have a walk-on corner starting. I mean, he's probably great. No disrespect, but like,
I mean, I'm not saying I'm faster, but this is kind of my job, is to criticize people. So they're just not fast.
D1 athlete Kevin Walker in the building.
I feel like the biggest difference. Obviously, none of us are in the locker room, so we don't know the actual reason. But just us speculating. Week 0, we've never had it before. Got some new faces in there, probably fired up. You get some, like you said, UTEP really beat themselves. They got some fourth downs they didn't get. They got some goal lines and some turnovers and whatnot. They didn't convert. So we're feeling great, feeling gravy. Everyone's hyping up the SMU game. We could absolutely blast it off of Mars. And obviously your spirits are going to be a little bit lower. And like we said, we did not play a good defensive performance even last week. So I just think I don't think they were good weeks ago. They're just not a great defense. And they had to get bailed out by the other team making mistakes.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any other thoughts on UNLV? Oh, actually, anyone changing their predictions from preseason?
Yeah, am I allowed to make an amendment this late?
You can. That's why we've got new predictions every week, so you can make an amendment to what you said at the preseason.
I mean, listen, I'm surprised that the spread currently is UNLV favored -3. I mean,
by the way, it started at North Texas -1, and the bettors have been hammering UNLV
as they should.
It's moved down. It's moved from -1 North Texas to -3 UNLV.
And for those who aren't familiar with gambling, you automatically get 3 points being the home team.
Yeah, you do.
So I mean, they're basically saying this is even. I don't know. I'm not a gambling man. We're not gambling advice experts on this show. But yeah, I'm taking UNLV in this one. I don't see how UNT is going to be able to compete with a team that just went toe-to-toe with Cal Berkeley.
Alrighty, so you flip. Cullen flips. Blake's flipping. Anthony?
Yeah, I got to flip.
And Kevin?
I'm going to stay.
I think UNT
face.
got absolutely smacked against SMU. There's no question about that. Texas Southern was their turnaround game. It was the game they were supposed to come in, have everything right, completely trash this team, and walk out with a dub, feel better about themselves. It was all about the moral victory, and because you're going to get the win. It's all about the moral victory and how each player played and how each player did. I think UNT can still pull off the win. They have to keep the run game going, and whenever it comes to third down situations, they're going to have to find a way to convert. Because if they're just in there punting every time, UNLV is going to get the score up. And if UNLV gets the score up, it's over. It's wraps.
Okay, so how many times do you think you're going to run the ball?
No, I'm not. I'm staying with UNT.
He's staying with UNT.
I think UNT
Okay.
can pull it off. And if they do, I think it actually tell us what UNT could
Kevin
really
will
be.
definitely have big bragging rights if UNT is able to pull this off.
Right.
Going to need a wheelbarrow.
Well, there we go.
It's going to be close.
And a new secondary.
There you go. There's your predictions. We say, well, everyone, 3 of the 4 flip. Kevin Walker, the only one who stays with his original preseason prediction
Could be psycho.
of North Texas taking down UNLV. But that is a 2:30. Am I right on that? Start on Saturday.
2 o'clock
2
Central.
o'clock. 2 o'clock
2 o'clock
Central
Central
time. So that'll be that's a nice noon kickoff in Nevada. But 2 o'clock start for North Texas and UNLV this Saturday. Coming up next, we talk some volleyball and soccer.
This is Chandler Parsons of the Dallas Mavericks, and you're listening to the Green Guys.
Welcome back to the Green Guys as we continue to discuss North Texas sports. Time to turn away from football for a little bit and talk some volleyball and soccer. As we'll start off with the volleyball team as they went 2-2 since our last show. Started off with a win over Texas Southern. I was at that game, and I can tell you I've never seen a team dominate like North Texas did against Texas Southern. They won one set 25-7. I don't think I've ever seen as few as 7 points scored by a team in a set in a volleyball match ever.
They dominated like the UNT football team should have.
Sure.
Boom.
We'll go with that. But yeah, 3-0 win over Texas Southern. Then they went up to Corvallis, Oregon for an Oregon State tournament. They lost to Oregon State 3-1. They beat Portland 3-1. And then unfortunately could not avenge our 2015 football loss to Portland State as they were swept by the Vikings 3-0 to go 1-2 in that tournament. They now head to Waco to play Baylor. And then they finish up with a handful of other non-conference games next weekend. They're actually playing in another tournament in Bozeman, Montana, a Montana State tournament this coming weekend. But that's, again, after the Baylor match on Tuesday down in Waco. But, again, probably the record, and Cullen and Anthony, you guys can start us off here. Record's probably still not what you'd want to see if you're Christy Porter with a 5-6 record, but they have a lot of good individual performances right now. Triana Rush is 11th in the country in kills and 14th in points on the season. And then Shadiman Hawley also 6th in the nation in blocks. That leads Conference USA. Aaliyah Galdera 5th in the nation in digs and 20th in the nation in digs per set. So while the record, you'd like it to be better than 5-6, certainly a lot of bright spots on this volleyball team right now.
Absolutely, Zach. You touched on all the statistics. We definitely have some individual bright spots with this team. I mean, obviously 5-6 is never a record that you're going to be sitting up there and being proud of, standing 2 feet and just, cheering in the stands. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're going to keep saying this. I mean, Christy, it's her first year for Coach Porter. She's trying to establish her culture and everything. She she did bring over some transfers from McNeese State, some of them being very effective in this UNT volleyball squad. But it's going to be, a while until we really kind of see the UNT volleyball team thrive, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, they're doing their best and they're out of conference and everything. But there's just some teams that, we just simply can't compete against. And I know we've got Baylor coming up next.
Yeah, that's number 14th ranked Baylor, by the way.
Yeah, that one's not going to go so well. Hate to spoil that one for you, but I mean, look, at the end of the day, all we can hope for is that they come out and compete. Anthony, I think you brought up the stat that, they really need to come out, set the tone, win that first set. If they can maybe do that, maybe get an upset or two during this non-conference stretch right before they get into conference, it could carry some momentum before they get into the heart of their schedule. So what are your thoughts on it?
I'll give them one set.
One set? No, not against Baylor, I wouldn't say, but maybe somebody else before we get into conference.
They still have Washington, Boise State, and Montana State to play in non-conference besides Baylor before they get into conference play.
That sounds like a lot of Power 5 teams up there.
That's Washington's in the Pac-12.
Washington and Baylor, right?
I'll give them 3-0 against Washington.
Boise State is a group of 5, and Montana State, well, they're FCS in football, but they're Division I. So
does Boise State play on a blue
court?
Blue court, yeah. Do they match the volleyball field?
I don't know. Let me look
or
that
the
up.
Football field, excuse me.
Anthony, keep giving your opinions on volleyball, and I'll look up the Boise State.
Because that would be amazing if that's true.
I mean, I'm just looking at Baylor right now, and I mean, I'm being gracious, and like you said, new coach for UNT, give her some grace. I get it for sure. If they can get one set out of Baylor, that would be a win in my book, because Baylor's 6-2 right now, and they've been killing the game just against Arizona State. They went 3-0. Evansville, they went 3-0. Colorado State, 3-0. I mean, they're dominating.
I'm here to sadly report that Boise State does not play on the blue court.
That's such a
sad.
letdown.
It is a letdown.
Getting back to some of the statistics, too, Galadera was named to the all-tournament team at the A6 Invitational. She recorded 50 digs, 12 assists, 3 aces, and a kill in the 3-match set. She also collected her 1,000th dig on Friday, moved her up on the all-time leaderboard. So, look, there are some bright spots with this UNT team. There's definitely reason to come out and support. Obviously, Zach mentioned that he attended the match recently, so we definitely need to still show our support. I mean, we got to show Mean Green Pride. I mean, that's what we're here to do. Support.
Students get in for free.
Hey, there you go, bitch.
Right, exactly.
For
Exactly.
free. So.
And I think, seeing how they played against Portland State, I mean, they did the first set, like I think this has kind of been a habit. The first set usually isn't their best one. It's usually the second set that's kind of where they get adjusted. Right. Because it was 26-24, so obviously, it
was close.
It was close, and then 25-15 in the third set. I guess they just went back to how the first set went, but I think if they can stay consistent, or if they can try to make a comeback in their second set, I think they'll be fine, whether it's the third or the fourth set. It's just about consistency, and I got to give it to their head coach. She's doing a phenomenal job. I think the record is fine. I think that we'll be fine the rest of this season. We just got to see how things play out,
Right. I think the key, honestly, and again, it's not something UNT fans love to hear because you want to see your team win every match if, by chance. But lowering some expectations, realizing that time and everything with this volleyball team, it'll come around. I believe in Coach Porter. I believe in her philosophy. We just got to give her some time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is, anything
There's
else
a
you make in the
volleyball
kitchen.
program.
There you go.
Right,
So
exactly.
we just got to temper expectations, and we'll see what happens when we get into conference play. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, conference play. I think we're gonna be fine. I feel confident in conference play. Right now, we're just trying to get adjusted, see how things play out, take some dubs, maybe not great as take some L's, but it's all about it's like water. You have to adjust.
Absolutely.
Great analogy.
Alrighty. Well, there's your
Like water.
volleyball talk again. They take on Baylor Tuesday night. That is tonight if you're listening to this podcast the day it was released, because we release every Tuesday. But moving on to soccer talk. The soccer team, albeit had a cakewalk of a schedule to start off the season. They started 4-0. They have not won a game since. They are now 0-3-1 in their previous 4 games, so a 4-game winless streak, not a losing streak, because they tied with Texas State 2-2, but they played 2 games since our last show. Number 16 SMU, they lost 3-0. Obviously, SMU, one of the better programs in the nation, so that's expected. Then they played Texas Tech. Tech, not the best Big 12 team out there, but I think they kind of got hot at the right time. Tech smoked Houston 3-0 last Thursday before they came up to Denton to play North Texas. And the Red Raiders come away with a 3-2 win. This was another game I was at. Not a good start. I mean, they were down quick in that game against Texas Tech. 3-1 heading into the half, and then in the second half, I don't know what John Hedlund said, but, man, North Texas came out firing. They scored a goal pretty early in that second half to make it a 3-2 game. Had a lot of quality chances. Had some opportunities at the end. Just couldn't get that third and equalizing goal. But if I look at the box score here, I believe they shut them out. So Texas Tech scored all 3 of their goals in the first half. Shut them out in the second half and came oh so close to a big comeback from 3-1 down, but just couldn't pull it off. And that loss to Texas Tech. I guess I'll start with Blake and Anthony here. Any cause for concern right now with this 4-game winless streak? Because I don't think anyone expected them to beat Oklahoma. Certainly no one expected them to beat SMU. Probably should have beaten Texas State. Could have beaten Texas Tech had you had a better start. But are you concerned yet as conference play starts this Thursday?
No. I am not concerned. So they, as you just spoke on, they let those goals off early. The same thing happened against SMU. They were allowed 2 goals in the first 7 minutes. And they were the best defensive team those first 2 weeks that we were talking about them. They had just allowed 2 goals. And they've allowed 8 or 9 since in the last podcast, or the last podcast and a half. So it's really been their defense that's letting up. And what do we say in literally every sport ever? Defense is literally effort. Like, that's all it is. So I don't think this is we're not skillful enough. Like we've seen now, obviously our girl Kat, she's kind of cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, she's not scoring hat tricks like Anthony thought she would every other game.
She has not had a hat trick every other game. She has not had a hat trick since.
Maddie Drenowitz, though, player of the week last week, and then Olivia Klein has had a couple goals.
Yep,
so.
Olivia and Maddie have picked up the slack. So I think there's definitely still a lot of talent on this team. And other than the SMU game where we didn't have our best showing, pulled a little UNT football replica out there and got smoked early and late, I still got confidence in this team. I think there's still a lot of good players. John Hedlund's obviously one of the best coaches, if not the best coach here at UNT. So I don't think there's anything to cause a concern for. I think like you said, we played some good teams at the wrong time for us. Texas Tech was hot coming in, but we're still getting shots on goal. That second half against Tech, they came out firing. Offense was going, but hot-headed a little bit. Penalties kind of killing us. Slow start. So those are all things that can be kind of worked on in practice. So I personally am not that concerned.
Yeah, I mean, either. I mean, you already said it, but I mean, you're right. We probably should have beat Tech. We could have beat Texas State, but I mean, a loss to SMU is almost inevitable. It would have been nice to at least get a point, but I mean, this is a soccer team that knows nothing else but to win. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna get it turned around, if not tomorrow, but very, very soon. I'm not worried at all.
I think an interesting
bound.
quote from Mr. John Hedlund, head coach for the soccer team. He said when they played SMU, we needed a little luck tonight playing a nationally ranked team on their home field, but nothing seemed to go our way. We'll regroup, next week. So I think even the coach kind of knew what was abound. They weren't really expected to win that against ranked SMU. And I mean, that's what happened. They didn't even get a point out. That was the only game that they haven't scored in. They've been one of the more prolific offenses this year, putting up, like I said in that first couple of weeks, I think they were top 2 in shots on goal. Just like they're aggressive. Like you're just constantly getting shots on goal. So when that aggression stops and you're getting penalties and you're getting scored on early, and now you have to play more defensive heavy, those things kind of all weigh in. But I think this team will figure it out, especially in Conference USA. They will probably steamroll for the most part Conference USA, which they usually do. I think it's good to have some challenges, some SMUs, some Techs on the way there, but I think they'll be fine when it comes to conference play.
Well, there you go. That is volleyball and soccer talk coming up here on the Green Guys. We learn a little bit about UNLV in a game we're calling Sin City.
Hey, I'm Christy Porter, and you're listening to The Green Guys.
Welcome back to the Green Guys. We've got one more segment for you here. It's called Sin City, as we do a little trivia over UNLV, and the rules are as such as they are every week.
That's your best name yet, Sin City.
That's
Sin
a good
City?
one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
You can
low-hanging fruit.
10 questions. Yeah, that was an easy one to
Wow.
go for. So,
Way to take a
neat
dig
level.
at our producer, Kevin.
Yeah.
oof.
I got a feud with him when it comes to these
Low-hanging
games.
fruit.
So,
No one's friends.
the score, by the way, this semester is
Yeah,
Yellow
we're good.
Studio 3, Green Studio none. But
I held it
today's-
down, Anthony.
Wait,
You good?
Wait,
Had
you
to
telling me
remind
me.
we won last week?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Milo won last week.
Hold
Stop
on. Listen, I know we're journalism students here. Anthony's a communication major, so we're not the best at math. But if there's one thing I learned back in math class in elementary school, it's common denominators. Anthony wasn't here last week. Milo wasn't here the 3 weeks prior, or 2 weeks prior. What's the common denominator? That's
Y'all
right.
cheating?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
All right.
you
I didn't
wish.
know they taught that back then.
All right, everyone. Attention. Question 1. Again, 10 questions, 3 answers. You can pick the same answer. Here we go.
Flip the coin.
Number 1, like North Texas, UNLV has gone through a handful of name changes since its inception. What's the original name of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas?
How did you not look this up? This
I don't
is
know.
the
This
most
should have been the
common
first
one.
thing I looked
Is
up.
it A, the University of Las Vegas? Is it B, the University of Nevada Southern Division?
I like that.
Or is it C, Las Vegas College? Green Studio goes first.
I like B. I'm gonna be honest. I like B off rip, but I was ass last week, or I was not good last week. So you pick.
Already dropping cuss words this late into the show, Blake.
Sorry,
Come on,
I'm
B.
tired.
Dang.
I mean, it's a pretty accurate depiction.
Wow,
Like-
tearing me down.
Kevin's just roasting
I'm
everybody.
going to say the
right
Green
now.
Studio is in
Studio.
shambles right now.
All right,
Let's,
what's your answer?
Let's go B.
Okay.
B?
I like it. Let's
All
go
right.
B.
Yellow Studio, what's your answer?
Yes. Anthony, what are you thinking? I have an answer that I like, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, this music that is playing right now,
It's a bunch of Elvis instrumentals because it's Las Vegas.
it has
Love
me
that.
thinking to go with an
It's
answer that
now or never.
Oh,
Does this have anything to do
I
with
was
the possible
not
answer
expecting
in the
that
future?
whatsoever.
Me
Nope. Was not expecting that.
Zach just
Anyways.
kicked his chair back and saying that.
I feel like he's kicked his chair back at his feet or on the soundboard.
All righty. What's your answer,
All
Yellow
right, Anthony,
Studio?
talk us through it. Come on.
University of Las Vegas, University of Nevada Southern Division, or Las Vegas College?
I'm going the Southern Division.
So
Just
you-
sounds right.
That's the same answer that Green Studio gave. You can pick the same answer. Do you want to lock that in?
I think we'll go B.
And you're both correct. It is
Let's
the
go.
University
I'll
of
take it.
Nevada.
I'll take it.
Go.
Southern Division was the original name of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Take it.
You love
Fine.
to
Score is
say it.
1-1 heading into question number 2. UNLV's mascot is called the Rebels
Yep.
due to what reason? A, they wanted to differentiate themselves from their parent campus in Reno, which is north of Las Vegas. They're the southern campus, hence Rebels.
Rebels.
Nice.
B, the last state to join the Confederacy in the Civil War, hence the Rebel moniker. Or C, UNLV's first president was a former Confederate general, and he pushed for the name Rebels. Yellow Studio, you go first.
Whew. Wow, that question's all over the place, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
That was a filled.
Up, down, round, and round.
I feel like he's really hinting at the Confederate history over here for UNLV.
Yeah.
But I like personally C if I'm choosing out of one of those. But
C
then
sounds right.
But
in
then,
my
but
mind.
then again, usually when this happens, it's usually the other answer.
It's usually the most wildest answer that doesn't make sense.
Right. So are we going with what was A again, Zach? I remember the first.
They wanted to differentiate themselves from their parent campus in Reno, which is located north of Las Vegas. They were the southern campus, play on words from the Civil War.
That way too specific.
Very specific.
I kind of want to go A now. I don't know, A or C. Which one do you? What do you?
I'm gonna go with A.
Zach
You're
has
gonna
a
go with A?
story for
A.
the first option.
Yeah.
I
You're
think we're
saying
going.
A.
We're going to lock in A.
Okay, Green Studio.
We're going with C.
UNLV's first president was a former Confederate general, and he pushed for rebels.
I don't like how he looked at us.
I don't either.
Like, are you sure?
You know
I
what?
still
Do you want to
like
lock
C,
it in?
but
I like.
it's-
Yeah, we're locking in C.
Okay, and the answer is A.
Ah.
Yellow Studio gets it right.
Hey,
They did want to
yes, sir.
differentiate themselves from their parent campus in Reno. They were south of Reno. They said South equals Confederacy equals rebels.
Well, all right.
All right. Question number 3. UNLV's first football stadium, Cashman Field, still stands today and hosts what sport? Is it A, home of the Las Vegas Lights of the United Soccer League? Is it B, cricket, home of the Las Vegas Rockets, the only professional cricket team in the Western U.S.? Or C, a roof was installed and it's now the practice facility of the Vegas Golden Knights of the NHL?
Oh my gosh.
Green Studio, you go first.
I'm mind screwed.
That's literally a guess.
I'm
That's-
mind
That is
screwed, bro.
100% a guess. If there's any facts you have behind this, Cullen, for knowing this answer, unless you've seen like an article about the cricket team.
I just want everybody to know that I actually did try to find. I don't know how you look up random facts about random things, but I did my very best. None of this even touches
No,
anything.
You know what the more impressive part is? The 2 answers that aren't correct, that he writes like a story
They
out
just-
for them. So they all sound good.
Oh no, Zach does his due diligence when it comes to these quizzes.
I really have no idea. You can literally take a shot in the dark.
Run through them just one more time.
Which one sounds most outrageous?
UNLV's first football stadium, Cashman Field, still stands today and hosts what sport? A, soccer, B, cricket, or C, it's now an NHL practice facility.
I'll just go cricket for the heck of it.
I'm gonna say. You said C was
NHL practice facility.
Let's go C.
Okay, I like it. See.
All right, Green Studio says C. Yellow Studio, what do you say?
I think this is also a shot in the dark, personally. Okay, so it's soccer, cricket, or hockey, correct? Those are
Yes.
the 3
Yeah,
sports involved.
Yes.
You know what? We had a debate if we were going to talk soccer today. They wouldn't let us, but I'm gonna say soccer right now.
You don't think they're gonna be playing cricket?
Is that your answer? You want to lock in soccer?
And that's A, correct?
That's A.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go soccer.
And Yellow Studio is correct. It is soccer.
What?
Home of the Las Vegas Lights
I really thought I
of
was
the
on to
United
something.
Soccer League.
I had no idea. I was literally guessing.
Well,
The
my
lights.
thought was like, okay, the Vegas Knights are sort of new, so maybe they're using an old facility. I guess not.
All right, so your score. Yellow Studio's gotten every question correct so far. It's a 3-1.
It's okay.
All right, number
not.
4. From 1972 to 1973, UNLV had one of the biggest turnarounds ever in college football, going from 1-10 to 2-12. Or, sorry, 12-1.
I'm about to say that's a major turnaround. That's a major turnaround we just witnessed.
Let me say that again. From 1972 to 1973, UNLV had one of the biggest turnarounds ever in college football, going from 1-10 to 12-1. What eventually famous coach was at the helm for that turnaround? Was it A, Lou Holtz, who eventually had stops at Arkansas and Notre Dame before becoming a famous media personality? Was it B, Chuck Noll, who eventually won 4 Super Bowls as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Or C, Ron Meyer, who went on to be the head coach of the Pony Express at SMU? Yellow Studio, you're first.
Okay, so Ron Meyer, Lou Holtz, and what was the first answer? I'm sorry?
Chuck Noll.
Chuck Noll. Okay.
Not Norris.
Yeah, not Norris, no. Okay. So we got to think of this here. He said it was famous. Around
Eventually,
1970s.
eventually famous.
Eventually famous. Okay.
There's no timeline attached to that.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Anthony, try to walk me through your process here. Because I am just...
Famous.
Eventually famous.
Eventually famous.
Eventually
Threw
famous.
a body in the county jail.
You keep going. keep going. Okay, fine.
Zach giving us little teases
I know a lot.
there.
I know a lot of Elvis. So
Well, here's what I'm looking
Oh,
right now.
God.
Oh, good Lord.
So we're
Don't
going.
do this.
So we're going famous countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just gotta think about it a certain way.
There's another
all right, what's your answer, Yellow Studio? Lou Holtz, Chuck Noll, or Ron Meyer?
Chuck Holt sounds nice, but Ron Meyer sounds better.
I'm about to say, I think I kind of like Ron Meyer, too. I think we'll go Ron Meyer.
Lock in Ron Meyer. All right,
Thank
Green
you.
Studio.
Thank you very much.
So Cullen is known to be old, so he might have been around, but he also could have forgotten this because he is old, like I said. Recency bias.
The reason you bringing up that joke is getting old, to be honest.
Ha, ha, ha.
Older than me.
Don't
Thank
care.
you. Thank you very much for this.
Freaking Anthony.
Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz. You want to lock in Lou Holtz? You want to talk about this?
Nope. Just
Anthony's been
I'll
out
tell
for
you why
2
if it's
weeks.
right.
You sure you want to put on Lou Holtz now?
Anthony's been out for 2
I'll
weeks
tell
and
you-
got a new voice.
You positive now?
I'll tell you.
All right,
I'll tell
all
you
right.
why if it's right.
All right,
Okay.
so you're locking it in.
Yeah.
All right, and Yellow Studio is correct again.
No.
It was Ron Meyer.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
4-1. Yellow Studio has not gotten an answer wrong yet.
We're looking good over here.
Meanwhile, Green Studio has gotten 3 answers
Hey,
wrong.
hey.
You know what?
This
Yeah.
old fossil knows a thing or two.
All righty,
That's
number
what I'm talking about.
5. Number 5. Because of Las Vegas allowing gambling on sporting events, even minor league teams had trouble setting up in Sin City until the 1990s. However, what team squeaked through the cracks to become Vegas's first pro team? Was it A, the Las Vegas Cowboys of the Continental Football League? Was it B, the Las Vegas Wranglers of the East Coast Hockey League? Or was it C, the Las Vegas Coyotes of Roller Hockey International?
Well, is roller hockey like an official sport?
There was a league called Roller Hockey International.
Well, then that would probably be one that they wouldn't care too much about. There's no way a football team got away if they weren't letting other football teams get away with it.
Is it Green Studio that goes
It's
first?
Green
or
Studio goes
Okay.
first.
I'm feeling C, but it also I kind of like B.
The Las Vegas
All
Wranglers
of
of the
them.
East
Just
Coast
all of
Hockey
them.
League.
Like ABC.
I'm gonna let you pick. I've been doing.
Okay, what was B again?
Las Vegas Wranglers of the East Coast Hockey League.
So that feels like the answer.
I kind of get the same feeling if that means anything.
I was gonna go to C, but I'm turning left and going back to B.
B, Wranglers of the ECHL.
B
Yellow
for
Studio.
Okay, so Wranglers. Sorry, go ahead.
The Cowboys of the Continental Football League, the Wranglers of the East Coast Hockey League, or the Coyotes of Roller Hockey International.
I think so. Zach loves hockey.
He loves hockey.
There are 2 hockey answers in this question.
That's what I'm saying, and they're staring us both in the face. But what do we know about Zach too?
Can't call Milo.
You can't call Milo.
That's true.
I think this one though. I think he's trying to purposely steer us away from the right answer. I think the first one might be the actual answer.
The Las Vegas Cowboys of the Continental Football League.
The Continental Football League.
Just to throw a wrench in it, like he gives us the 2 hockey answers because he thinks we're gonna go hockey,
That's
but
true.
he throws in the other one.
It's just a psychology quiz at this point.
Pretty
All right,
much.
yeah.
I do
Wow.
minor in psychology, so
You
I think
wanna
I'm gonna
lock
go.
it in?
I'm gonna go A.
Yeah, we'll go A.
And you should major in psychology because it's A.
Hey.
Yellow Studio
This
is
is
up
back-to-back.
5-1.
This is back-to-back weeks of getting dismantled. I was here for both of them. You've only
All
had
right.
to see this once.
Number 6.
Should double major.
Like North Texas, UNLV has its own traditions. Which of these is a UNLV tradition? Is
Uh-oh.
it A,
Uh-oh.
the Sam Boyd
taking a mic
shootout,
off.
a rifling contest between freshmen who have never shot a gun in their lives?
That sounds funny as heck.
Is it B, oozeball,
Ooh.
an annual volleyball tournament between students and faculty that's played in a mud pit instead of a court or sand setup? Or is it C, the Rebel Run, where students race against each other while wearing full Confederate Civil War uniforms?
Oh my gosh.
I
am not going
Wait,
C.
we're going.
The answer could be C. I'm not picking C.
How about this? Hold on. So we're going first, right?
Yes.
All right. C would get canceled in today's culture if that was true. There is no way. I swear, if that's the actual answer, yeah, that
It may
needs
be
to
time to cancel something in UNLV.
I'm about to say, yeah. I'm
sure.
We're not picking that answer, and that better not be the answer.
Not in this society right now.
I'm about to say that answer was so bad it distracted me from the other two answers.
It did.
Okay, the other two answers are A, the Sam Boyd Shootout, which is a rifling contest between freshmen who have never shot a gun in their lives. Or is it B, Oozeball, a volleyball tournament between students and faculty that's played in a pit of mud instead of a court or sand setup?
I'm not going to lie. That one just sounds fun.
I'm about to say,
I would go with that one for sure.
Let's go B.
Yeah.
B, Oozeball. They lock it in? Locking it in?
I don't, yeah.
What
'cause
student doesn't want to go against your professor?
not to mention, why would they let freshmen who have never shot before
yeah,
shoot?
that's a problem.
Y'all
That's-
already,
that
y'all
would
already
be a problem.
answered. Y'all already answered. Be
Green
quiet.
Studio, what's up?
So every time we
Sore
try
loser.
to think like, shut up.
Too far.
So every time we try to think that something is unreasonable or would get canceled by a school, other than I'm not talking about C, A doesn't sound like it should go through. There's no way, reason that freshmen should be shooting shotguns.
Yeah. But it's A.
Screw it, just go with A.
A.
And the answer is B, Oozeball.
Of course, the one time we picked the illogical answer, it's the most regular one.
Just can't make this
So I'm
up.
thinking that
6-1 is your score. Yellow Studio has still not missed an answer. And by the way, the record for most points in a single go is 6. So if they get one more answer right, that's a new record for most correct answers in a quiz show.
I love this.
Snap.
Because Zach's in the studio with us gloating about the other studio. We're having to watch it. The other studio is so much better.
This is the Green Guys podcast. You're doing Green a disservice
Yeah,
by losing
shut
all
up.
these games.
No
Come on
ass.
now.
All right, number 7. Here we go. Only one number has ever been retired by UNLV football.
3.
Who is the player? A, Randall Cunningham.
No.
B, Hunky Cooper. Or C, Glenn Carano.
Well,
Green
Is it
Studio's
us?
going first.
Okay. It's got to be Randall Cunningham, right?
yeah.
It's got to be.
I mean, I don't even know who the last guy is.
It's got to.
But at the same time, what was B?
Hunky Cooper.
Like, I feel like that's the answer. Like, I don't know anything about it, but I just feel how he said that. That's
Dude,
the answer.
I'm going to say Randall Cunningham. If it's wrong, then
Okay.
screw it.
Randall
Forget
Cunningham.
it.
All right, they say Randall Cunningham.
There's
Yellow
no way
Studio.
It's not.
Randall Cunningham, Hunky Cooper.
Go with
Repeat that
Hunky
last one.
Cooper.
Glenn Carano.
Go with Hunky Cooper.
I'm sorry. Are you answering for us now, Kevin?
No, you really should, though.
Oh man, God, that okay. I kind of just want to go Hunky Cooper just for the
Memes.
sake. Yeah, literally just for the sake of
Hunky Cooper.
Oh, what
Such
are
an
you thinking,
amazing-
Anthony?
Amazing name.
it. You think we should go for it?
Yeah, we'll go for it.
We'll go for it.
Hunky Cooper.
Hunky
If
Cooper.
it's right, I'm walking out of the studio, I swear.
And the Green Studio is correct. It's Randall Cunningham.
Awesome.
All right.
And the-
I had to give them one.
That was
Yeah,
a
so
pity.
it's-
We almost had the record.
At
We
this
almost
point,
did.
we're just playing
So
keep away.
close.
Yeah,
We're
there's
just
still
playing keep
3
away.
more. There's still 3 more questions with the opportunity to break the record.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
All right,
There's-
number 8.
Cool.
UNLV plays against Nevada annually in the battle for what trophy?
The desert, yeah?
Is it A, the Desert Dragon Trophy, a 5-foot-tall dragon statue?
Oh, yeah.
Is it B, no trophy at all, but instead an all-expenses-paid weekend at a casino on the Strip in Vegas?
That makes no sense.
No way they're letting that happen.
Or is it C, the Fremont Cannon, a big cannon?
Nice.
Okay.
I wanted to say something else, but I don't want to bleep it out later.
Well, I said it earlier, so you're good. You can just move it around.
Yellow Studio, you're first.
a big
Cannon. A big bleeping cannon.
They're locking in big bleeping cannon.
I think it's that too, but
we locked in
I-
bleep, bleep,
I
bleep, bleep,
was just
bleep.
repeating the answer, but I mean,
Do
Oh,
we
right.
want to try to differentiate, or do we just go with whatever?
I guess we're going with
I
cannon,
don't
I
even know
guess.
if that's what they
I think-
picked.
Oh, yeah. Did y'all
Yeah.
pick that or not?
no, I mean, we were just repeating the answer. I mean, you know, it's fine. It's cool.
I thought y'all locked that in.
Definitely
Thanks,
thought that
guys.
was what y'all picked.
No, we were just a big bleeping cannon. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just fun to
say
say.
it,
It was just,
yeah.
Anthony, I don't know. Do you
Do
want to
you
just
really
go?
think they're gonna let them go on an all-expense trip to a casino?
I don't think they would encourage that because he's basically saying it's a tradition.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. And then the first one was a
Dragon
The
Trophy.
Desert Dragon Trophy.
Desert Dragon
Dragon Trophy.
That one's
5 foot
interesting.
tall dragon statue.
I don't know. I kind of just want to go with the cannon now, just for the
Yeah.
memes, just so Zach can say a big cannon.
Big bleeping cannon.
Yes. Oh, we'll go with the cannon.
Okay.
Cannon.
Am I locking cannon? Y'all are locking in cannon?
Yeah.
And y'all are both correct.
Hey.
It is the big bleeping cannon.
And that's the record.
And that's the record for Yellow Studio. 7 correct answers. And the score is 7-3. Green Studio, congratulations. This is the second most points you've ever had.
Yeah, didn't need that.
And that's a new record, too.
Moral victories on this show.
Number 9. The Fremont Cannon, the big freaking cannon, is notable for what?
Big bleeping.
A.
It's not freaking, it's bleeping.
Oh, God, we missed you, Anthony. We really did.
It's streaking.
Oh, my goodness. The Fremont Cannon is notable for what? A, being Nevada blue because Nevada won the first ever matchup and painted the cannon their school colors. Is it B, it's able to fire live ammunition, though this rarely happens nowadays? Or is it C, the heaviest rivalry trophy in all of college football?
Okay.
What?
So the obvious
heaviest.
answer is C, but we know that's not the answer.
The heaviest.
It's a
Interesting.
big cannon.
Maybe
all,
B.
Wait,
Green
hold
Studio
on.
goes
Let's
first.
think about this.
Green.
All other trophies are like trophies you can hold.
Yeah.
We're talking about a cannon. That could weigh like.
But he never said what the cannon looks like. He just said it was a cannon. We
I
don't know
said
if
it's
this is a trophy-like cannon
well,
or
he
is this
did
a
say
cannon.
big bleeping cannon.
So
So
is
it's
this
not
an
like it's a
actual
little small
cannon?
miniature cannon that we're getting.
Well then, but is there other trophies bigger? Like,
Trying to.
I mean, there is the boot, you know.
Everything's like. Every trophy I've ever seen is like a.
That cowboy hat
Trophy
that
you
in
can
the Texas
hold.
OU
that-
rivalry is pretty big, Kevin.
You're
I
right.
don't know.
That is, yeah.
okay, you want to just lock in? I feel like it's detriment that we're gonna be wrong.
What else is there?
It's Nevada blue because the University of Nevada won the first matchup and
Yeah.
painted the cannon.
And then live ammunition.
Live ammunition.
See, I think
or
it's
is it the
big.
heaviest rivalry trophy in all of college
C
football?
is like just too
I'm-
obvious.
I don't know. Let's just go. I'm kind of thinking A.
We just said all three answers.
Just don't. I'm gonna go A. What I mean,
I'm
They
gonna go
are
B,
flustered over there.
we're officially splitting.
which
on
means that
Green
we're going to
Studio.
C.
So both of y'all are splitting answers?
That's allowed
Y'all
now?
on the
No,
same
it's
team.
not. Lock in an answer, please.
Kevin, you got it. You weren't here last
Let's
week.
go A.
A. Okay. Nevada blue. Yellow Studio.
I just don't think, like, if one team painted the cannon, would you not, whenever you win it back, go try to paint it the other color? Like,
That'd be
there's no way they
weird.
would just let the color just stay blue the
Yeah,
entire time.
That makes sense.
It's probably C.
See, I'm thinking that it like it had real ammunition.
I'm
Because
looking
it's a
thinking that
cannon.
too. That's
'Cause,
what
like-
I'm saying. Yeah, but he said that it doesn't often get fired, but every once in a while it gets fired.
See,
That's a little anecdote.
yeah,
Anecdote. Whatever.
anecdote. Yeah,
Anecdote.
Using big vocab words over here.
Anecdote. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then I mean C just seems like the obvious answer, so I feel like B.
Can we get an answer in?
B.
It can fire live ammunition. Both of y'all are wrong.
Okay, there we go.
That's beautiful.
It's the heaviest rivalry trophy in all of college
So the
football.
obvious answer.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah.
next guess.
There you go.
And yes, to answer your question, they do paint it. Whoever wins the trophy
I'm
that
about to
year,
say,
they paint over
Makes
it.
sense.
There was no way that they were just gonna let it stay the one team's color. That just
Yeah,
doesn't make any
that'd be
sense.
weird.
All right, final question. Sam Boyd Stadium, the former home of UNLV football, also played host to what? A, cricket. It was home of those aforementioned Las Vegas Rockets. Was it B, CFL football, Canadian Football League, home of the Las Vegas Posse? Or is it C, professional wiffle ball? Yellow Studio, you're first.
Professional wiffle ball.
That
Wouldn't
sounds-
that would be something.
It's
That-
wiffle ball.
That'd be so
wiffle
much
ball,
fun.
cricket, or Canadian
CFL
football.
Yeah, Canadian football.
I actually remember all the answers that time. Wow. I'm not getting too
Congratulations.
old. Yeah, no, seriously. That is an accomplishment on
I
this
don't
show.
think it would be Canadian football.
Those don't have enough accomplishments.
That would be weird to hold a Canadian Football League in Las Vegas, in
yeah,
America.
like
That would be weird.
I mean, I'd see if it's like the championship or.
I don't know.
but
That's
no.
the second time Zach's mentioned cricket.
Yeah,
Or maybe the second, maybe third. I don't know. But it's not the first time he's mentioned cricket.
it's not. I
think I'm leaning towards cricket.
I think I'm leaning towards cricket too, because he did mention it twice, so it just makes sense.
I think he's really hinting at the cricket.
Yeah,
We'll go
Lock
cricket.
it in?
We'll go
sticking
cricket.
with the bug.
All righty.
Blake, you look like you're about to fall asleep. Or you're thinking? I'm down.
ball.
Wiffle ball.
He whispers into the void.
Go wiffle ball.
Y'all are both wrong. It was CFL football.
Interesting.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Not
The
surprised.
CFL in the 90s tried to expand into America. It backfired horribly.
Of course it did.
What
I think
thought.
underrated fact is Zach's, whatever you would call this process of getting your questions, just immaculate way to throw us off, or at least this studio. Apparently, Yellow Studio knows all of your tricks.
Yeah, well, Yellow Studio got 7 of the first 8 questions right and then missed the last 2, but they are the winners by a 7-3 score.
Hey, that's not bad.
4-0. Yellow Studio leads it this semester.
Hey, man.
Hey, what did UNT start last year? 1-6?
1-6. Yeah.
How are they starting out this year?
We might need to change the
Are
name
they
of this
playing against
podcast.
TSU?
The Yellow Guys. Yellow Fellows.
Hey, the Yellow Fellows.
Yellow Fellows.
All right. Well, that'll do it for another episode of The Green Guys. We'll be back next week with more North Texas talk. Thanks for listening.
This is Tina Slinker, and you are listening to The Green Guys. Guys.